Welcome back. Today we will continue with the session on computer software and digital information. Yesterday's discussion we have discussed about what is the necessity of computer ethics and what are the different aspects of it, what is data and what is software, what is digital information. Today we will continue in details with some more discussion and we will discuss two relevant cases for it. So, let us see what is there in the outline for today's discussion. Outline of today's module is what makes digital systems and digital information different, software as an intellectual property. In the last discussion we have discussed about what is software and what are the responsibilities of people dealing with software. So, today we will discuss at software as an intellectual property. We will discuss something more about hacking and changing culture of cloud computing, facilitating downloads equally a crime, challenges in this information age. And so, we will continue with digital systems and digital information. So, digital systems and digital information undoubtedly has taken a special characteristics that sets them apart, and that is why the moral significance of it has become more important, because it gives us so much of power, capability of getting information without maybe any barriers. So, and getting information of maybe from others also without much effort taken. So, how we use that power to what and for what purpose, that brings a moral significant issue and a problem for the digital systems. So, like the ability to steal the digital information without entering the premises from a distance poses like a new challenge for the legal system. Like if somebody has not entered the premises and there is no proof like how that stealing has been done, then how do we consider how that theft has been done and who is guilty, whose responsibility was it, like was the security was the problem or the person who has stolen, it is like he is guilty for it. So, this poses new challenges for legal systems in finding out who has done the crime and who is at fault. Also, the plasticity of digital information, that is like it can be stored in and transferred in any small devices. So, because of that thing, it has increased the chances of forgery, and that is why it requires more checks. So, what we can understand from here, it opens up a great world of possibility in front of us in terms of gaining knowledge, sharing information, becoming more capable in doing more things, knowing more things and using it for different purposes, but again it brings us the risk of also losing information, maybe attack on privacy and forgery, thefts, and which is becoming more complex day by day, because it is very hard to make a control mechanism available which is going to prevent these kind of things. That is why this is becoming more and important of moral significant issue. So, what are the distinctive characteristics of digital information? Is no tangible form, its plasticity is its nature. So, it can be stored anywhere, it carry high intrinsic value, even when stolen or pirated it is not gone. So, somebody may be selling or license software to others without our knowledge. So it is easy to create unlicensed copy of software, music or videos which threatens the artistic integrity. So in the last discussions we have discussed about copyrights, we have discussed about patents and how this tries to protect the artistic value, copyrights and integrity. But when it comes to the digital world and it becomes so easy to create unlicensed copies of software and music or videos, it's really a threat to the artistic integrity. So can be easily copied online if it is made available by others in public forums. So because of this thing, we have already discussed about the importance of copyrights and intellectual property rights, because of this nature, like it's become easily available to others and others can use it as per their requirements without even acknowledging or referring to the original creator of that information. That's why copyrights have become important, and that's why the intellectual property rights have become important. So for a detailed discussion you can refer back to the discussion which has already been done on copyright and intellectual property rights. So we will refer back again to discuss why we consider software as an intellectual property. So we consider software to be an intellectual property because the software code may be either patentable or covered by copyright depending upon how novel the software is as a technology. So other technologies are subject to patent only, but software, because it is a written work, we have to understand patents are applicable for things which are more of a design qualities there. But when you're talking of software, because it is a written work, it is more subject to copyright. So, but it also possesses functionality unlike other written works. So that is the juncture again which brings it under patent. So because patents is for such designs which has got a functionality. So because software is a written document, it comes under copyright, but like other written work, it has functionality. So because anyone can use the source code without reading it, so that's why property protection for digital information is differently, as they work differently as they work for other technologies. So this thing, like anyone who has got hold of the source code, they can run it and get the outcome. So that's why property protection is for digital information. So it is both under patent and copyright. So even if somebody is buying a software, so there are bylaws only bound to use it for themselves only, and specifically they are not used to do reverse engineering to create one of their own, as the license forbids them from doing so. So if you're buying a software, you can use for your own purpose only, but you cannot do a reverse engineering to create one software, as the license that you have brought, it forbids you from doing so. So for better understanding of this insight, we can refer to the case of Lotus Development Corporation versus Paperback Software International and Stephenson Software. So the case we are going to refer to is like we had to discuss over here, is it wrong to copy vendor's ID? So, SCSI, an industry standard system for connecting devices like disks to computers, provides a vendor ID protocol by which the computer can identify the supplier and model of every attached disk. First company makes a file servers consisting of a processor and disks. Disks sold by first identify first in their vendor ID. Disks from other manufacturers can connect to first file servers. However, the file server software performs certain maintenance functions, notably pre-failure warnings based on performance monitoring, only on disks made by first company. Competitor incorporation decides to compete with first by supplying cheaper disks for first file server. It quickly discovers that while its disks work on first file servers, its disks are at disadvantage with compared to first disk, because they lack the pre-failure warning feature of the first disk. The CEO of the competitor therefore directs the engineer in charge of the disk product to find a solution for this problem. The engineer of the competitor incorporation does reverse engineering and discovers that by making the vendor ID on its disks match on the first disk, the first file server will treat competitor disks as first disks. Competitor incorporates this change into its product and advertises the disk as 100% first compatible. Representatives of the firsts charge competitor with forgery. They maintain that whether or not competitor's practice is illegal, it clearly violates industry-wide ethics. Competitor justifies its action on the grounds that the favored treatment of the first disk by first server is unfair and monopolistic. Moreover, it argues that using first vendor ID is not forgery because it does not mislead people. Competitor disks are clearly labeled as coming from competitor. Competitor's action at most misleads first software. If this action is not forgery, what it is? What if any ethical rights are infringed by copying the vendor ID of the competitor disks? Now, if we have to discuss this case, then we find that both the first and the competitors have given their arguments, which are again which consist of pros and cons. Like if we go in depth of the case, then what we find, like first, when first server is making the server, then why they are making the software which is more like favorable to the first disk? If we remember from yesterday's discussion, then softwares, even if developed by someone, needs to be neutral in nature. This cannot give any preferred treatment to someone or arrive at any conclusion results which the designer of the software aims to achieve. That was the discussion that we had on software yesterday. Competitor incorporation is questioning first disks on that issue. Like if they have made a server, then why it is like only their disks are getting a preferred treatment. So that is their argument. For the competitors' argument for the against the first, but also that does not make the competitors like practices ethical. Competitors, as we have learned from today, they have done a reverse engineering and tried to find out the vendor code and mapped it to the vendor code, and without the knowledge of the first company, the developers, and that's where they have violated their copyright. So in both the cases that we find here like both the parties are at fault. The developers have developed it in the software developers have developed it in such a way that it is only their disk who is getting a preferred treatment, which should not be done ethically. The competitors have also done a forgery by reverse engineering and entering into the vendor's code and mapping their disk to it, and without the knowledge of the developers, and that's where it is coming under like violation of copyrights and forgery. So this what we find is both the parties are at fault. It's not like it is only competitor is at fault, but it is really both the parties who are at fault, and corrective actions needs to be taken by both. Next, we will be discussing about hacking. Hacking is a way of making something function the way it was not designed to. Unfortunately, it is celebrated as a clever, benign and ethical prank or a joke, which is both challenging the perpetrators and amusing. It is also referred to a sense to gaining unauthorized access to computers, phone systems and so on, which is illegal. Why then it is considered to be illegal and prima facie wrong? So if we take it to be a ethical prank or a joke and challenging and amusing, and then getting sense sort of access to the computers, phone systems, so which is obviously illegal. So, but why is it considered to be illegal and prima facie wrong? So, because this action may have a long-term effect on, or a wide range of effect on the whole nation or society at large. Now, if we have a suspicion, and for also the purpose for what it is done, if we are arguing like somebody has planned a major attack on the nation, and then or on a group or a society, then somebody hacks those information and comes to know about it. So then should we take hacking to be unethical, or should it be justified? So the purpose of the action, what it is put into, many cases tells like whether it is justified or not, and also the question that arises related to it, who is doing it? Who is doing that hacking and for what purpose? And whose information is getting hacked? We will discuss about another small case over here, which is about the Pirate Bay file sharing case. So, the Pirate Bay file sharing case, it is which saw 4 men who founded the Pirate Bay, a torrent tracking website, found guilty of assisting making available copyrighted material. 3 of them, Gottfried Warg, Peter Sunday, and Frederick, ran the site. The 4th, Carl Lundstrom, helped finance it. Charges were brought in 2008 and the trial was held in winter and spring 2009. The 4 are charged with accessory and conspiracy to break the copyright law. Although their website did not host the copyrighted material, it allowed users to download copyrighted software, music, movies and computer games without paying for it. The trial has received unprecedented coverage in Sweden. Pirate Bay supporters have come out in force. The Pirate Bay set up a blog about the trial in which the accused made light of the claims for the compensation and damages amounting to 120 billion kroner, about $14.3 million, saying they have no money to pay any damages. In addition to fines, they were also each sentenced to 1 year in jail, however. So, from the extract from where this case has been taken, so from the book, so it does not have the conclusion about it, because by that time this book was still in press. So question comes in like, what is wrong? Who is responsible for this? What we find over here, there were 4 men who were accused, 3 who ran the site and 4 who financed, now 4th one who financed it. So what they were found was that a torrent tracking website, which is Pirate Bay, was assisting in downloading copyrighted materials. So there were 2 things, like one is they were made for torrent tracking website, but they were helping to download copyrighted materials, and though they did not host the material, it allowed users to download copyrighted software. So that's why it became very popular. There were many supporters, there were many followers who used to do it, who used to like download the copyrighted materials from this site. Question, if you're talking of the ethical perspective of it, and we want to see like who is responsible for this action, who is at fault, is it only these 4 people who have founded the site and who has maybe financed it is at fault, or it is the public at large also who is downloading this copyrighted materials without paying for it, they are equally responsible for this action. So this is a debatable issue, and maybe pros and cons with like arguments and counter arguments. So first of all, we may argue like why at all, like if it is a torrent tracking website, then why at all they gave that this facility for it? Why they gave, why was this copyrighted material got downloaded from it? What was their purpose for it? So why they started a business like this? Now if we argue again from the general public's perspective, and maybe from the organizations also, why then what is the responsibility of the public at large to respect the copyright of the like original creators of these musics, videos and etc., movies, computer games, and why they are going to download something which is freely available without acknowledging the due payment, the payment that is due to the original creators of these artistic works. So we find like it's been a huge claim that's been done, a fine which has been imposed on this company, and they were also sentenced to 1 year in jail. So what we find over there, so because we find again by the counter argument, so people would not have access of these services sites if they were not given this chance to do so. So if you're talking of who is more responsible, maybe they again it comes back to these people, and that's why there's maybe imprisonment for 1 year in jail, or the fine which has been imposed on it. Next, we are going to discuss about a very sensitive issue, which is the issue of privacy. In this information age, can we say like our private information is safe, or because of the easily accessible nature, our private informations are also accessible to the maybe public at large? We have already discussed in yesterday's discussion like how companies who may be taking some of our personal data, with whom we have shared some data for some purposes, are sharing it with other companies without the knowledge of the consumers, and that sometimes becomes embarrassing for the consumers if they are using it for promotional purposes for their own products. So some information that maybe I have shared with a particular company for buying its products, it is sharing that information without my knowledge to other companies also, and they are using it for their promotional purposes. Now we should not, like, it is not a blame game that we are going to blame the company only for it. The users, the consumers also are equally responsible for the safety and privacy of their information. What we find is, like, before we enter any information and before we like agree to sharing our information, there are always certain like clauses written, documents of agreement written in depth, and then points are given. Do we agree? Do we agree? Do we agree? And then finally we have to click the submit button. Sometimes it happens like we are in such a hurry that we do not read what is written, we do not try to understand the consequences of sharing that information, or we are in such a hurry to possess the whatever is being delivered by that particular company or that website, we feel like we'll just share our information so that we can grasp the whatever deliverables that website is giving. But we do not take time to pause and take a second thought, like who else can use my information and for what purpose. So we as users also need to become responsible users, like rational users, think before we share our information and like analyze what could be the consequences of it, because nobody forces us to share. Yes, there will be some like greed factor which may work, like we become greedy of getting some information or some deliverables, and that's why, and we are all like maybe pressurized by time, and we don't take an effort to read in details what it is written and to see like whether if what purposes they are going to use it, and whether if violated what could be the consequences of it, and we just go on ticking yes without even reading in details what is given. So we cannot just tell the company is using our data. We are equally responsible for letting the company use our private information or data, and we need to be careful about it. So let us see what are the challenges in this information age. Authentication. It is harder to prove that you are you and somebody else is not you, and you can be anything and anyone in internet. So that happens whenever we are talking of maybe certain websites, social networking sites, where people are able to hide their original like identity, and lots of cyber crimes happen due to that. So who is going to authenticate like you are you and somebody else is not you? There are so many fake profiles developed, and people like become friends, start talking, enter into relationships to find like they have been talking to a wrong person, and lots of crimes happen after that. Phishing. It is deceiving people and churning out their financial important information like their account passwords, that we find sometimes we receive mails telling us like we have got a lottery or something, and they want our personal bank account number, then maybe ATM card number and code. So those we need to be very careful about these type of mails. Spam. These are unwarranted messages, usually advertisements sent to large number of people without taking their permission, and which really becomes irritation for people. So we try to focus like what could be the challenges and what could be the ethical issues, what could be the dilemma in these ethical issues, like if something happens then who is responsible. We have discussed two cases where we see like in the first case both the companies are responsible for maybe the wrong done, like for they have with the first company they have like tried to develop the software in a way like only their disk gets a preferred treatment, and the competitor company has forged into that data. So both parties are equally wrong. And in the second case that we have discussed about the Pirate Bay, what we find over there is like they have made a website for a certain purpose, and the users are able to download copyrighted files, music files and videos and games without making payment for it. And then it comes to like question is like we can talk of like in this case, because the general public didn't know maybe about it at first, and it is they who have introduced it, and they have given this facility and made people like their eagerness motivated them to use these files, use this website. So the main onus lies with the 4 people who have been charged with fine and 1 year jail. But we cannot tell for sure that the public at large is not responsible also. Even if 1,000 such websites are there, then why should I get tempted to use them? What is my part of responsibility to not to use, violate the copyright of the original creators? Why should I get tempted to use something without making payment for it? So there lies again the values and ethics of the users also. So both the parties are responsible over here. So but here in this case the onus is more on the people who have introduced this site, but we cannot tell the public at large is not responsible. We have also discussed about the challenges of like authentication phishing and spam, and which are becoming day-to-day challenges, and we need to see like how we can overcome it. But of course, to conclude, this is a domain which again gives us so much power of information, so much capability to like churn out information, knowledge from that information and use it for like some purpose. Question comes again and again, how we use it in a responsible way and for what purpose do we use it. So the duties of both the producers and the users, and the responsibility of the producers and like the developers and the users of the product, both are equally responsible for the use of this beautiful, we can tell this is a blessing of technology, to use it for a purpose which is for the good of the whole humanity and not to provide harm or to bring disturbances in the life of others. Thank you.